tonight we're talking about fundamentals of network spinal care. And we're going to dive in deeper into what is this all about? What is the network wave? Why does it even matter for me to have some wave that my body can develop? We're going to talk about that. And we're going to demonstrate. We have Lynette, Miranda, and Toby all volunteering to being trained in front of everybody to demonstrate the unique network wave. Everybody has their own unique responses and their own unique signature of the wave. So it's going to look different with each person. In this space between each of us, it may look empty. We know there's air molecules, but there is an infinite source of energy. There is a field that connects each and every one of us. And we identify it as the 0-point field, the quantum field. Some people call it by other spiritual or religious names. It is there. When you look at the basic building blocks of matter, what scientists have always thought was a physical universe, the more we looked closer and closer and closer at these tiny little particles, atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons, pure energy. There's nothing physically there that is not just energy at its very core. It's vibration. It's resonance. The field is what we can interact with to create what we want in our life. You've probably all likely heard of the laws of attraction, the ability to manifest what you want in your life, to put your focus on something and all of a sudden things are happening. Cosmic AT&T, you're thinking about somebody and then they call you. There is such an amazing way that we're all connected. Your interface with the field is your body and especially your nervous system. You are a dense concentration of consciousness and you vibrate at a certain frequency. Your spine and your nervous system is your interface to that. That's why I get so excited about working with people's spines and helping to optimize their unique frequency through the development of a unique network wave. It's unique to each person. It's also unique to this work. NetworkSpinal Care was developed by Dr. Donald Epstein. You can learn all about it through epienergetics.com or epienergetics.org for the Epienergetics Foundation, where you can connect to more of the research that they've done and that they're still doing, and just amazing projects that they're continuing to work with. So NetworkSpinal is under the umbrella of Epi Healing on Epienergetics' whole system of care and Epi Living. So NetworkSpinal is a clinical care application, but there are other pieces to that puzzle in Epi Healing, and part of that I give to everybody is the 12 stages of healing. That's the old book that he wrote. He's advanced that work. He even has a 12 stages in 12 weeks program, a 12 stages in 12 days kind of introductory program. It's amazing work. And it's like the homework version of what we're doing here to help you reorganize and work with the forces of life and the forces of nature. To be able to have more direct access to the unbound energy of the field and to be able to have intentions that are more congruent with your unique signature of life, it's like magic. It's not, unless everything's magic, but it is an amazing thing to see in somebody when they start to connect with themselves, develop a wider bandwidth of an emotional capacity, an ability to be with more in our emotional field, to then supercharge our mind, to be able to then put into creation what it is that we want, to then really go beyond just the inner workings, the simple workings of the mind, to this more optimizer, the thinker. To be able to have a whole healed self so that we can truly then move beyond the self into this beautiful state of emptiness. But not like an emptiness, like nothing is there. It's an emptiness where everything is there. It's a beyond the self into a connection with all that is, into soul. And that's the journey of the 12 stages. And then to be able to truly bring your authentic blessings and your gifts into the world more fully and share it with others and lift others up. So that's like stage 11 and 12. When we're working with whatever it is we're needing to work with on the table. There's a correlation with the stages. There's a correlation with the part of our intelligence that's working with your energy state. And so with network care, yes, we're developing these really cool, crazy spinal waves, an interesting movement pattern, but that's not it. That's just a carrier of the information that the body's been holding. It's going to be a unique experience for each of you depending on what you're holding. The area that energy is moving into, these little contact points on the neck and on the sacrum that we're working with, start to become more and more sensitive. They develop into what is referred to as a spinal gateway. And it acts like an energy vortex and starts to become sensitive to in the field away from the body. Again, it's not magic, it's just how we're wired. The nervous system is the master system of the body. It controls and regulates everything. It organizes everything. And it can reorganize everything. The conditions that you experience in your body are a side effect of the way that you've been living. It's not a permanent thing. I ask that people take whatever diagnosis they have and stop wearing it. Stop identifying as it. And some powerful words you can start to put into action with that you'll find in stage 1 of the 12 stages of healing is sometimes it seems like fill in the blank. And it helps to break the permanency of it. It helps to break the identifying with it. And it helps to move you out of being in that state. And we're going to help to shift 3 wonderful, beautiful people into a different state and talk a little more about what it is we're finding, what the gateways are, and some of the strategies as we have someone on the table. Okay, so Miranda, if you would like to come on up first and grab a face cloth for you. Okay. So in the normal care setting, we have multiple tables. There is a field. We're all connected. One person's change can trigger change in another person. And one of the first questions I had about this when I started this work was like, well, wait a minute. If they're getting rid of some stuff, I don't want it. And there was a wonderful teacher who was my first instructor in this work, Dr. Judy Scher. She said, Jason, if you even try to find a spinal gateway with anything but love in your heart, you'll be hard pressed to find it. It is a high energy state. It's a high energy process in the body. Your nervous system has no interest in taking on other people's junk, but it has a lot of interest in taking on the winds. And so it's like an all ships rise together kind of scenario. It takes a little bit of time for the body to process whatever it needs to, not a very long time, but maybe a minute or two. And so I can work with one person, have their the contact made that needs to be made, and move on, check the next person. And while she is shifting to a higher state of coherence in her nervous system, it's impacting the field that we're all sharing. As you shift to a higher state of coherence, you're impacting the field of humanity. I want you to think bigger than you've ever thought. When you come in for care, I invite you to share the thought with me that we're doing this and improving the entire world in this moment. We're impacting the field in that way. Now, if everyone will just hold space for this wonderful soul on the table here. As I palpate down your spine, what I'm feeling, a lot of things, but one of the main things I'm focusing on is what we would refer to as the passive subsystem. It's part of the multiple systems together with the nervous system, with the spine, on how everything should be coordinated and working together. There should be this just harmony in the body, a coherence. And then I'm feeling across the side, I'm feeling the muscle tone. I'm feeling the paraspinal muscles. I'm feeling the lateral muscles here. I'm feeling for where there's tension, where there's an imbalance of the tension in the spine compared to in the muscles, or if it's all working in harmony. If there's a coherence in those subsystems, then there's a similar tone. When I'm checking the feet, I'm looking for the amount of pull in the connective tissues from the heel to the head to the brain. The Achilles tendon has connective tissue fibers that have been found to blend into the surrounding of the sciatic nerve called the epineurium. That blends into the surrounding of the spinal cord and brain known as the dura mater. So as I come down here and I'm checking the heel tension and the eversion tension, that sideways movement, I'm getting another read of where is there tension in the spinal cord? Is it bound up in a certain area? I want to find that bound energy. And I want to see, is it available? Because if there's a lot of energy there, but it's like guarded, that's not going to be that loving connection feeling. I'm looking for where's their rapport, where's their connection, where's their ease, taking into consideration all the other stuff as well. But where we place the attention, where we're putting the context and the strategies in the body that we're working with, we're going for where the energy is available. And often it's not anywhere near where it hurts. So just feeling where there's energy available there, tension there, through there. First thing we develop in NetworkSpinal Care is known as a respiratory wave, a breath wave that engages every vertebra of the spine. I want to see a gentle rocking of every vertebra. As the breath is moving, there's a reverberation of that breath off the top of where the spinal cord attaches, where the dura mater attaches, and then it reverberates back down to where the spinal cord attaches at the other end of the spine. And these waves actually start to move past each other and settle into what is known as a standing wave. There is some really cool research that was done with surface electromyography to monitor, well, what's going on with this wave? They found that the higher levels of care, is what they used to call it, levels of care, the more coherence, the more advanced strategies of the nervous system, the more coherence there was in the actual signal. There was simultaneous burst impulses. So a contact along the sacrum or along the neck was creating a simultaneous bursting of these signals throughout the spine. And it was distant from where we were at. They found through all of the mathematics that they had to go through in analyzing these waves that it is a unique signature for each individual. And it's what is known as a central pattern generator. So there's this kind of a loop feedback. I create a stimulus, we get a process going. I'm no longer involved. Her body is now looping through its own awareness. That lift, the stretch, the breath, all of that is cycling back through to a neural input, creating a wave that is helping her nervous system to connect to, release excess tension, to build new strategies, and to take energy that's bound up and move it through that wave into the gateway. Theoretically, then, the gateway is then an access point to consciousness and the higher self field, getting a download back and correcting the signal or upgrading the signal. That part we can't quite prove yet, but that's kind of the theories and work there. What we see in the research that's been done is that even quadriplegic patients are able to experience and express the wave. It's a little different. It doesn't have quite the same feel and mechanics of somebody who has a full spinal cord connection, but we're talking severed spinal cords. There's a process of connection that's going on beyond that. Okay. So now I'm going to take a moment and just continue tuning in, seeing where Miranda's at. So feeling where there's tension cues me into what particular pattern we're going to be able to help her body address. So I see a right shorter leg. Let me have you turn your head to the left. And there's some movement, but not really any evening of the legs. Back to the center and to the right. And again, some movement, not really seeing an evening out of the legs. It's one of the first things I look for. Go ahead and turn your head back to the center. If there was a quick evening of the leg, then that would indicate we would have a pattern of tension that involves the upper cervical spine. If it was a slow evening, then that would tend to be more of the lower cervical spine. Those stress patterns take priority in what we address in care. So I always go through these same steps, but it's always depending on what pattern of stress is there. Is there energy available? Is there a gateway available? What season of care are you in? Are we working in discover, transform, or awaken? With that would be the stage, they all correlate to different stages. Are we working with the bioenergy intelligence, the basic intelligence that's running the show, keeping us alive, pumping the heart, doing all the things that we thank God don't have to think about? Or are we working with the emotional intelligence, the energy of just true raw human feeling? Or are we working with some of the energies of the mind or the energy of the intelligence of the soul? That leads where we're going and what we can integrate into a single contact. So with not seeing a cervical pattern, the next level of priority is the stress that we hold in the sacrum. So the contact that I need to do next is just to test, is this a neurologically responsive area? So I need to make a contact off the edge of your sacrum over the right glutes area. There's a ligament called the sacrotuberous ligament. The reason we make a contact there is it's creating a lift in the sacrum on that side, and we're looking for a neurological reflex of the body balancing itself. If I see that, then it confirms, yes, that is a neurologically responsive area. That pattern of stress is there and it's available. So that's why we make that contact. So I need to come down to the edge of the sacrum right there. Sits bone right there. There's the ligament. Coming in with just a slight scooping lift up. And the contact, just like that. And I don't see any change. So then I move on to the next area of priority, which would be more of the mid-cervical spine. Okay. How do I know when I'm on a gateway? So a gateway is an area of rapport and energy availability. It kind of draws you in. It's almost a place where your hand just stops. It really does just kind of pull you in. There's a connection I feel in my own heart. And as I really get right into the energy of the gateway, every time I get flushed with goosebumps. That's just an indicator to me. This is not about me, though. This is about, it helps me to know that I am in the precise place that we need to give the exact input we need so that Miranda can really connect with herself in a deeper, more profound way. So the goosebumps are helpful. So there is an available gateway here. And I'm looking then to see, is there an available gateway along the sacrum? Right here at the fourth sacral segment. I count a lot. You'll find I'll do this. That takes me to L4, 5, S1, 2, 3, 4. Counting from there. So that's why I'm like playing piano on you. So I know where I'm at, so I can record specifically where we were at, exactly what contacts we made, so we can make sure that we're doing things the best we need. Now, just finding this area of rapport, did you notice anything about her breath? She started to take a fuller breath. So, and about this kind of space in the field above Miranda, I'm about 3 feet above you, Miranda, with my hand. I feel a lot of energy available there. Over the heart center, that would be the soul intelligence. If I feel a lot of energy available in the musculature, then that would be more the emotional intelligence. If I feel it available in the lumbar spine region here, kind of between second, third chakras, a lot of energy of putting things into motion, that would correlate more with the mental energies. So I can then bring in those elements to help the body work with the energy that it has available. So we're going to do that. So the very, very light contact, looking to facilitate the strategy of a breath wave, the respiratory wave. Miranda's been under a bit of care, so her body picks that up pretty quickly. I'm going to come up even lighter and engage more of the energy of the soul intelligence. Sometimes we need to change our posture a little bit to help that breath wave really connect where it needs to be. So Miranda, I'm going to have you just lift your head just a little bit. Tucking your chin down just a little bit. I'm just going to support you right there. And that's what I was looking for, was for that breath to really move right into this area here. So when she started, there was breath really engaging the sacrum, the lumbar spine, lower thoracic spine. And right here's where there was some defense in the passive tone, the basic bio energy and the emotional energy, yet a lot of energy available in that soul type of connection. Did anybody notice anything in the room when I was making the contact and went into that space, just really lightening up and engaging that energy? Denise, what were you aware of?
I was aware of my own energy and how it changed.
Yeah. So Denise said for the recording, she was aware of her own energy and how it changed. Okay. So good breath moving through. Gonna find now what's changed. Much more ease through that whole area of her spine. Before it was like, I'm not gonna hang out there. Now there's more of just a balanced tone. Now I'm looking in the active tension. There was more of a guarded feel here. There's a lot more energy available here. Can you feel that difference, Miranda? Awesome. I love this stuff. Okay. So when your legs are spring-loaded like that, that correlates with this pattern of tension in the mid-neck. It's like getting your sea legs in life. And it's this straight kind of a way of helping you to be with all the emotional energy that you're having to be with. And not that I'm wanting to get rid of those strategies, but we want to help you to adapt and become more flexible. That's where you just don't need that strategy anymore. When you shift your energy, the whole condition that was there that you're trying to fight doesn't even matter anymore. It's not that you just ignore it, but it creates a completely different state in the body by shifting the energy. Let me have you turn your head to the left again. So I'm always looking to see, now do we have another layer, a different tension pattern that we can address, or are we working with the same stuff? Turn your head to the right. Now I'm seeing a little bit of a slow evening, but not quite an evening of the legs back to the center. So there's definitely some change going on there. Right, short leg. Before we move on with the same phase we were working on, I just want to recheck to see, are we actually working with the sacral pattern now? And go into the depth of the emotional intelligence, because that's where we're working now. Right there. Definitely feel more connection there than I did before as far as the test contact. And it's slowly evened out. I give it a second. And then a big difference. So it was like creeping down after that contact, and then when I rechecked the legs, it was up again. And so that confirms to me, yeah, we're working with a different pattern, different intelligence, different pattern, and we can now help you to increase your emotional range with what you're tuning into right now. Our sacral patterns have a strong correlation with the roles that we play in life, our identity, our sense of self. Yeah. Go ahead and ask your question before. Yeah.
I was wondering how long that takes, because we pick up the same patterns. Probably it just takes a little bit longer before the nervous system is able to change.
So the question being, how long does it take? It can vary per person for how long those patterns of stress have been there, and no matter how long you've been dealing with something, when you have the right energy with the right strategies, it can change in an instant. I've seen instantaneous healing of people's emotional traumas. Not that I'm doing that, but they have moved through that by shifting their energy state. And I have seen where people are going and living the same patterns, living the same life that you've lived, then you're creating the same stress, then you're but starting to adapt to it differently. So sometimes it's a slower progress, sometimes it's immediate. There's definitely a layering of the strategy. So if she's never had any care before at all, I wouldn't just jump necessarily right into the emotional work after the very first time we have a respiratory wave. Like, let's let the nervous system work with that. So that, yeah, timing is definitely a unique part for each individual too. Okay. So there's that bioenergy. I'm going to come in just a little bit deeper contact, engaging more of the emotional intelligence, starting to engage the musculature, the muscle tone. We create some stretch in the muscle tone, and we're really working with that emotional wiring. It's so anchored into our actual postural tone. That's why we can read each other's body language so easily. Okay. And then the gateway for a sacral pattern will be more out to the side. I'm going to make sure I'm right on where I need to be. And then come in traction further away from it, drawing up in towards it. Building energy, connecting to the whole of that phase of energy. Drawing it towards the edge of the gateway. Miranda, feel free to allow yourself to lift a little bit right here, lifting through your hips, breathing into your sacrum. Feel free to lift as high as you feel like you need to go. Again, working with the energy of the soul intelligence, coming up to that subtle energy connection. We're going to add some traction and movement just to really help her connect with the energy she has available. That's it. Coming in, staying at that depth of the emotional intelligence, lifting up, engaging more of that subtle energy. That's it. Go ahead and lift here just a little bit more. There you go. Coming to the center of the gateway, where there's just this little thread of energy. That's it. Connecting to that. And just hanging out with that in that field of the emotional intelligence. Until I lose that feeling of rapport and connection. And right there where all that energy is, right to the edge of it, and vectoring until we connect to that gateway. There you go. Feel free to allow yourself to lift and stretch there. Let your muscles move. And then we're going to bring your leg out to the side, your knee into a figure 4. This helps to just put some compression into that gateway, driving that connection further in and helping to allow for a further stretch. Feel free to allow your sacrum to lift and stretch again. And I'll coach those movements, But I really want you to allow what feels organic to what your body's needing to do. Sometimes I'll help with posture and positioning so that we can help your body direct the energy at the depth that we need it to. But as far as how much stretch you need, let your body guide that. If you feel like you need to let out sound sometimes, that's a good way of dissipating energy from the emotional intelligence or that emotional energy. Don't want to start with there because we want to use that energy. Could you feel a difference in the energy of the room working with that entrainment compared to the first entrainment contact? Gets kind of heavy with emotion. Gets real. But it's rich. Even more energy available there, and everything just feels much more balanced in tone. And now when I bring your legs up, balanced and even. Still see a short leg lying down. I'm not trying to force your legs to be even. The body's adapting. It's got its own strategies that it's needing to work with. But it is an indicator of how the body's holding stress and tension. And so I am looking for change. Looking for particular patterns to no longer be showing their stress face. Go ahead and have a seat on the table, Miranda. Good evening. Take a breath, take a moment. So that is a really good example of discover care, working with the bioenergy intelligence, that breath wave, the connection strategy, working with the emotional intelligence, the stretch and the lift. We're starting to develop the spinal gateway at that point. We're basically encoding the gateway to the energy of that phase of tension, the phase being like a life experience that you couldn't be with that became a fragmented energy pattern that the body's holding. So we're recalling that energy to the gateway so that you can bring that energy and information home to consciousness. You can take the gifts from it, take the lessons from it, and grow from it. So thank you for sharing. Okay. So I will start with observing. I feel the spine, feel the muscles, but even before that, I'm taking in a lot of information about the person on the table by how is their body holding itself? Is there a hip that's sitting higher, a shoulder that's sitting higher? Is there an imbalance? Depending on what side you enter the table from, but if I come here and I ask you, do you feel like you're lying straight on the table? She does. Awesome. So I like to point out, if I ever ask you that question, you're probably not lying straight on the table.
I always feel like my legs.
Yeah.
Hey, nice.
So,
Day
so there's a tension that the body's holding, kind of veering off to the left here. So here's the edge of the table here. And here's the edge of the table way over here. So if I straighten you out on the table, now do you feel like you're lying straight on the table, or do you feel like you're lying crooked on the table? You feel straight. Okay, good. Sometimes I'll straighten you out and it's like, oh, whoa, you just totally stretched that pattern of tension there. Okay. So seeing that kind of a spring in the legs, feeling the heel tension, getting a check at the legs lengths. Do the leg lengths change as we go up? Is there a sway in the hips and the pelvis? All of this stuff gives me information of what kind of stress is the spinal cord under. That is the primary patterns. It's helping to address where the most critical point of tension in the nervous system is, with the most precise input at an area of energy richness and rapport. So Lynette's been under some care. She's started developing some of the early transform strategies, some of the early network wave. A lot of energy available in the emotional intelligence, a lot of energy hanging out here in the lower spine. That's where we have the energy associated with the season of transform, lower and upper mental intelligences. A lot of energy available in the intelligence of the soul. Great. Okay, let me have you turn your head to the left. And turn your head back to the center. And turn your head to the right. And back to the center. Okay, again, right short legs stay short. I'm not seeing any evening at the legs with a head rotation, so we're going to check for the sacrum pattern. Checking at the depth of the lower mind. This is deeper than the muscle tone. And the legs balance out. And then they're short again. So that's the check. That confirms for me that is an available pattern to work with. That's what we've been working with. So I'm already familiar with where Lynette's at in her care, and we've been developing the strategies with this phase. Perfect opportunity to develop that further to support you in the next transition in your life. So feeling a real connection there at S3, the third sacral segment, which would correlate to T5, T6 area. That's the piano playing. Finding, does it correlate? Because if I feel rapport and a gateway in the sacrum, but there's no connection where it should be in the thoracic spine, then it's not a fully engaged pattern to work with. It's like the circuits aren't connected. I can't make the input to address the whole of the system through that if it's not correlated through the thoracic spine as well. So that's why we're doing that. Okay. And then looking to see if we have rapport at the occipital gateway that we've been working with. We do. Okay. So I'm going to make a light contact just to kind of get her nervous system online, engaged. It's already online, but to kind of engage in the entrainment process while bringing in some of the nuances of the early transform strategies that we're about to work with. Okay, let me have you lift your head just a little bit. Lifting through your spine from your heart. And I invite you in this moment to think about not your transformation and your journey, but what you're creating for others. The coaching work that you're doing, the impact that you're making for other people, and how this next phase in your life is going to allow you to expand and reach even more people. Just be with that for a moment. Subtle, but starting to see more energy come into. Can you feel that difference? The whole room is focused on you. That focus outward. Bring your attention outward. Go into the space around you with your mind. breathe into the space around you, into this room full of loving people who are supporting your transformation so that you can help others with theirs. That's where energy's at for her. Hold your head up like that. Go and lift through your hips just a little bit. There we go. Deeper contact, creating some traction, building some energy here. That's it. If your spine's wanting to move a little bit, feel free to let it. Not trying to force anything. If you try to do the wave, you'll interrupt, you just stop it. But if you just allow it, it just happens. Building energy here. We're going to direct that energy up to the occipital gateway. Engaging some lateral bending. Building energy, stretching the borders of the gateway just a little bit. Starting to get some energy of the gateway vortex out here. Yep. There we go. Let your head come up just a little bit. Brings your spine into alignment where we can have that energy move through the spinal canal. A lot of energy building up there. Feel free to let your body move with that a little bit. When you first develop the network wave, it's like learning a brand new dance. That's it. There you go. Come up just a little bit higher, tucking your chin down. Right there. You got this. Here we go. Building energy again. That's it. And there it is in the occiput. Right there. And the sacral. That's it. Bringing that thread of energy to the occiput. And back. Up. And there's where that bound energy is hanging out there. Happy to access that. Beginnings of the network wave. Body's learning to coordinate a movement of energy, developing a timing. Breathe. There you go. Okay. And then just for a moment, just really find this area with your breath. Allow your body to relax. That was really a stretch for where you're at, Lynette. So we're going to just come one more time with a lighter contact to bring more breath, more stability to that. That was novel for her nervous system. Okay. And a couple of slow, deep breaths. There we go. So the spring-loaded feeling there is just much more at ease. I didn't address the phase that's directly related to. We addressed a phase in a different priority, and it entrained that phase. It actually helped to clear out more stress in the nervous system than what we directly addressed. And now, right short leg goes even. There's still some sway there. Our body's going to be working with that for a few days. And not as much of a pent-up energy here. It's not that we lose the energy. We put it to use. Bound up energy for too long becomes a problem. Okay, go ahead and come on up. Have a seat on the table. Okay. Sit for a moment, just breathe. Would you like to, nice, yeah. Would you like to share anything?
I felt a lot of energy. Oh, thank you.
They can hear, but that's just for the recording. No.
I felt a lot of energy moving through my body, and my body moved in a specific ways, and it wasn't me doing it. It's like something else in my body, like the energy of my body moving itself through different areas. Yeah, it feels great. More energy available to use. Yeah.
That's a beautiful way to put it. More energy available to use. More energy available for life, for healing. Do you mind sharing just briefly what has this care done for you so far? What have you experienced in this care? How's it helped you?
Well, so I came to the care because I had a lot of stress. I've been going through some changes in life, and it was pretty stressful. So I had a lot of headaches, but they were tension headaches. And whenever I came here, it was just, you don't even realize what is going on with your body, but it helps you with the symptoms. So now I don't have any headaches, any tension headaches, and I am able to manage my stress with ease. And it is very interesting because you don't do it, you don't consciously do it. It's just something that happens whenever you go through the care and the session. So yeah, I think that's pretty good for all of us to not have any stress. Yeah.
Well, I'd love to just add to that. we're not going to get rid of the stress in life, but we're changing our ability to adapt to it. When you have more energy to respond to stress, you're playing at a different level. And some of the stuff that really was a problem at a lower energy state just doesn't even seem to matter sometimes when you shift your energy state. And then you can shift the field around you and have more energy for life. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing and for volunteering. I appreciate that. All right, thank you. Okay. So next up is Toby. Toby has been under care longer than the first two folks that we demonstrated with. Her nervous system has developed more strategies, and I'm not going to assume that we can just jump into that. So I'm still going to take a step back, observe what I observe, find, is there areas of challenge? Are there areas that are not connecting well? Is there an area that we would like to see more breath? Is there balance and energy available in the musculature? So I'm going through that every time that I work with somebody. The first thing, even before posture, the moment you walk into the office, I'm reading, what's your energy like? What's your energy state? Are you in an energy poor state? Like, stuff sucks right now kind of state. Are you in more of an energy neutral? I'm okay. It's a pretty good day. High energy neutral. Things are really going great. I am ready to make some change, but maybe not quite in a state of just richness. And when you are in these different energy states, certain things are possible. Certain things aren't quite possible. My job is to be in an energy state, at least a couple states higher, so I can hold a space to help more become possible, to help you to access more. And we go to there together. So good energy neutral state for Toby right now, it's never a judgment. Well, you're energy poor. Well, that means I want to love on you more. But I'm not going to come at you with just this super energy rich state. I mean, probably wouldn't match too well in that state. But just in this state here, observing breath, observing movement, I'm going to approach in a state of more love, grace, and reverence, and raise my vibrational state and be in the field with Toby to help claim more of what I know is possible in this moment. Deepening of her breath, just a different energy state. And definitely a different feel of the energy of her spine. We are all responsible for the energy that we bring to the field at every moment. You could be standing in line in the supermarket. Why not be in as rich a state as you can? You have no idea the impact that will make on those around you. God knows they could use some love. Okay.
That's a crack.
Spine releases tension.
Mm-hmm.
It can be that easy. Okay. There's still indicators of a phase of tension in the spinal cord As your body becomes more at ease, it's less guarded, there's less bound up energy, but there's still signs of it. So I could come in, someone has like floppy moving ankles, not floppy, but like real ease tension there. So it's not that you have to have tension or symptoms to be able to benefit from care. That the richness starts when all that's just like 3 or less, 3 out of 5 or less, when it's just really your system is able to engage with more than we engage with more. Okay, right short leg, stays short when we bring it up. Tends to be, it's like a trend today. Let me have you turn your head to the left. And there was an initial kind of a bump up and down, but then a slow balancing of your legs. And then turn your head to the right. And a little bit faster, but not fast enough to be like boom, C1. It's more of like this C5. So C1 pattern, C5 pattern. That's kind of where we're going here. Is more lower cervical. Do you think I found a gateway? Toby's like, yeah. You're on it. Do the thing. Okay. Going all the way to the tailbone. Coccyx is where the spinal cord actually anchors to. With transform care, I want to be working with 2 gateways. We want energy to oscillate between them. The more neural oscillators you have, the higher state of consciousness is associated with it. Okay. There's a gateway kind of here. It's not really as energized for transform. Like there's probably some emotion type stuff we could work with there. Really a richness in the gateways directly in the cervical. So we're going to actually work directly with the cervical gateways. And Toby, I'm going to have you on your side with your head down at this end. Don't always start with the light thing in the breath. Sometimes you're coming in, you're engaged, shifting the energy. No. That's perfect. Yep. So something different here. When I have you on your side, we're creating opportunity for that wave to start to move forward and backward. And we're working with creating instability with that wave to drive more change. Instability with more energy available, you shift to a higher baseline. Instability with less energy available or not enough energy to handle it, we fall down. Okay. So positioning wise, I'm going to have you up on your shoulder just a little bit more. Basically giving yourself like a little kickstand with your fingers there. It allows your neck to move a little bit. A little bit of curve here is okay, especially for women. For men, it's a slight different posturing that we'll use based on how we want the energy to move. Really straightening out there. You're going to feel like you could just tip over. I've never dropped anybody. Not today. Tractioning the arm, dialing into the gateways, finding that energy, tuning into that energy, and then connecting the thread of the gateways or the maneuvers that we're going to be doing. Elongating the spine, engaging your system there. Turning the hand, keep it up on your hip. There you go. Just like that. Again, traction down, straightening out the pathway for that energy to move. Down. Tuning into the gateway on her right. There it is. other side of the body. And then rocking between those two. Just supporting on the front side. In. Looks like I'm digging in, but just following what her body's drawing me into. Come right up on that side again. There you go. Energy drops if you roll out of that positioning. Wonderful, wonderful. There you go. Right there. Traction down. That's it. And just connecting the energy threads of the gateways. Okay, let me have you roll to your back. Arms straight out to the sides. Knees bent, feet on the table. Moving into upper transform, the energy wave, spinal wave, network wave, begins to move further forward at the front part of the spine. It's where the sympathetic chain ganglia lives. It's the part of the nervous system that's really anchored into our fight or flight responses. Energy moving through there can cause a pattern interrupt, can change the chronic defensive stuff that we've been held on to, helping to move beyond the armoring of self into the heart. So that's part of the strategy. We're kind of early on in this process for Toby. I love your socks. Life is good.
Mm-hmm.
Life is so good. Dialing into the gateway through the foot, tractioning, stretching the fascia. Great development of the flexion extension gateways along the midline of the body. The lateral gateways don't quite have the bandwidth for upper mental late transform. We want to work with what's there and help to introduce some novelty. Threads of energy in the field that we're all part of there. That's it. There we go. Connecting to that bound energy. chin down a little bit. Let that energy move right into there. Feel free to let your neck move a little bit. And then connecting here at the brim of the pelvis to again facilitate breath. Moving into the gateways. Right there. To introduce more stability in that state. And for just a moment, she's reaching in the heart center. The heart vortex is reaching, stretching up. We're just going to bring your hands to the table, palms down. Let that energy move up into your heart, reaching up to that soul intelligence there. A lot of resources available there. Take a moment just to be with that. And now bring your arms back out to the side. Changes the depth or the height of where that energy wave is moving. Toby, go ahead and have a seat on the table when you're able to. I'm just going to close the blinds so I can see everybody. All the energy of the sun just beaming in to help you. Loved it. I want to give Toby a moment before I ask her to say anything. Did anybody notice a change in the feeling of the room? Yeah. It's a lot of energy. Yeah. Would you like to share something? Anything? That's so we can record it.
I feel I was one for years and years and years. I kept my stress pent up. This has been an awakening for me to let it go. My defenses were always up because you just have to be ready for whatever's coming. And once I realized that you could just be with things. Stress level, I can deal with it so much more. I am more aware when I feel it coming on, and you can just deal with it. I have so many tools that learn how to deal with it and let go. But I've also, I don't know, I was attracting bad things. Like you feel like the world is just against you, or this car's just going to pull in front of you, or why are all these things breaking? And when you just let go and deal with whatever's there, things are just coming. Blessings, many blessings. I am grateful for so many things. There were many things that I just was not aware of, the gifts that were being brought to me. And when you can just be with yourself, your true self, you just, I don't know, you just can visualize these blessings. You can take them as the gift that they're meant for you. I don't know. I can rattle on and on and on, but this care has really transformed me as an individual. It's like I didn't know who I was for such a long time. I knew the things I wanted to do, and now I am able to do them. I'm a server. I love to serve. I love to bring joy. I love to hold space for folks when they are not at their best. And I feel like I have the energy to do that. Just to share. We can be who we need to be. Let our guards down and let this work heal us. We heal ourselves.
Yeah.
Dr. Jason shows us how to access that. Just a wonderful gift that you have. Shares it unconditionally. It's a very safe space to be in.
Oh, thank you. When you're not anchored into defense and having to survive, the world looks like a very different place. It's quite beautiful. And if you're seeing a world that is not beautiful, full of people who are loving and giving, then I invite you to look at how is it that you are being. Claim more. Claim more energy. Claim more for others. All of a sudden, it's like the whole of the fabric of creation conspires to bring more. And you do have to claim it. And when you're ready for it, look out. It might change the very life that you thought you were supposed to be living and demand that you show up differently. So I'm excited that all of you have come through this office and excited for the journey that I see unfolding in each person. And it's truly a joy to serve. And I love that you were very clear that I'm not the healer. You are your own healer.
I didn't realize that at first. I was like, I'm coming to Dr. Jason so he can heal me. And
stage 2 of healing is this kind of a polarity. Now I'm looking for an outside answer. I'm looking for a resolution. I'm looking for a savior. The stage 3 of healing is starting to realize these patterns are stuck. And then stage 4, enough of this. I take my power back. And that's the first step into the transformation journey. That's the first step into claiming more. And you need the emotional bandwidth to be able to do that sustainably. You can do it and throw a fit and then you're right back in stage 2. It's like the stage 1, 2, 3, waltz. But when you continue just to allow yourself to experience life as it is and stop fighting what is and show up fuller, then life changes. Wayne Dyer said, change your thoughts, change your life. That was one of his last books. It's about the Tao Te Ching. Brilliant work, brilliant man. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I invite all of you to join me in that, and let's make a better world together. All right, thank you.
Love all and be loved, find inner peace and protect it. Love all and be loved, give love and accept it. Love all and be loved, that's life perfected. Love all and be loved, because we are connected.